Welcome to Unit 3, Microsoft Office Suite. Microsoft Office, we will be doing Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Microsoft versus Google Suites. Google Suites is a free software that is an open software that a lot of school districts use. It's very beneficial to students who cannot afford or do not have Microsoft products on their computers at home. However, in the business world, the world that you'll be going into, majority of the businesses use Microsoft Office. The reason why is that Microsoft provides a lot of security and privacy, which Google Suites does not do. Businesses need to protect their financial information, their product information, and customer information. So they use Microsoft because Microsoft provides, again, a lot of security. Before you graduate from Stillman, make sure that you get certified in both Word and Excel, because regardless of the field that you're going into, you will probably most likely be using this software, and it will definitely give you a hiring edge as far as employability goes. All right, when you first open up a Word document, there are a few things you need to do before you get started. First of all, at the top, there is a customized quick access toolbar. If you click on that drop down, you can select all of your favorites. Notice it says automatically save. You can click all of your favorites and they will appear up here on your toolbar. All right, so you want to set that to what you want that you use most often. Secondly, you're going to go to View and you're going to turn on your ruler. Your ruler, horizontal ruler, runs across the top. Think of horizon. It runs across, and on the left side, the gray area is the margin. And notice there's a little 1 there, so you know this is a 1-inch margin. And then your margin on the right side is also the gray. This is also a 1-inch margin. Your top margin is found on your vertical ruler, and it is also the gray. And if you look at the top, you're going to see a little 1. That tells you this is a 1-inch margin. We're going to go to Home. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our Show Hide Formatting feature. What this will do, it will show us the hard returns. That backwards P is a hard return, and it will also show us the amount of spacing between words. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have changed your default settings. If you look at the top, Microsoft by default opens up in Calibri size 11. We want this in the business world to be Times New Roman Arial and font 12. To change our defaults, we go to Font, and we're going to click on the dialog box here, that little diagonal arrow, and we're going to type in Times New Roman, or you can type in Arial, whichever one you want to use. And then we're going to come over here and click on 12. Now to set it for default, which means that every time your document opens, it will open up in Times New Roman 12 or Arial 12. We're going to come down to the bottom and click on Set as Default. We want all documents based on this template. We're going to click OK. And then now if you go up, you'll notice that the font family has changed and the font size has changed. There's one other thing that we need to fix before we get going. If I hit the Enter key, you notice that is putting in a lot of hard returns. That backwards P, these are all hard returns. The opposite of a hard return is a soft return. And what that means is that Word will automatically, when you get to the end of a sentence, return for you. So it automatically wraps. So a soft return just means that it just softly returns and you don't even know that it has done it. A hard return is wherever there is a backwards P. Now we need to check the spacing. If you notice between each P, there's a little bit of space there. Well, in the business world, we don't want that. So we're going to go to our paragraph ribbon, click on the dialog box, and we're going to check our spacing. Before and after should be 0, and the line spacing should be single. Then we're going to come down here and set it as our default. And we want all documents based on this template. And we click OK. And now if you notice, if we go to our paragraph box, they're all zero and single. And if we open up a new document, it is Times New Roman 12. We go to our dialog box and it's all zeros and single. So that is how you set your default settings. The next thing we're going to look at is how do we set up a memo. We want a little bit of practice here to understand how all this works. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go View, and on the right side, Microsoft has this wonderful feature that will automatically allow you to view side by side two documents. So I'm going to click on that, and if I have more than one document open, it's going to list all the documents that I have open. I want Memo Rule Handout. I'm going to click OK. You notice automatically now both documents are side by side. I'm going to click in this document because I want my formatting marks turned on here as well. And then one other thing I want to do, I'm going to go up and I'm going to maximize this window, and Microsoft automatically by default puts the view side by side on synchronized scrolling. We're going to turn that off so they don't go together. We just do that by clicking, and then I can reset my window. So now we want to get this memo on the left side looking like the memo on the right side. First step always is to change our margins. So we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to look for our margins. And we're going to go all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to customize our margins. We want a 2-inch top. We want a 1-inch left. We want a 1-inch bottom. And we want a 1-inch right. We're going to click OK. And now we have set up our margins and both top, bottom, and top, right, left, and bottom. The next thing we want to do is go to Control A, because we're going to check our document. Since this document was already set up in Calibra 11, you notice that it's not opening up in Times New Roman 12. So we need to change this. So we're going to go up here and just type in Times New Roman, or you can use Arial, and we're going to change this to 12. There we go. Now, when we're looking at this, anytime you see a slash, that means to backspace, hit enter twice, or backspace and hit enter. So we want this memo to look like this one. So we're going to, after the student name, we're going to delete that slash, hit enter twice. Then we're going to delete that slash after subject, hit enter twice. We're going to find our next slash. Here's our next slash. We're going to delete that, enter twice. And we're going to go through our paragraphs. Here is another slash. So I'm going to backspace, hit that enter twice. Scroll down. And then here's another slash. I'm going to hit the backspace, hit enter twice. Now I have my line spacing following the rules on the memorandum, a space between each one. Now the next step is we need to set up our memo heading. The memo heading is the to, from, date, and subject. That's the memo heading. If you notice over here, it tells you memo heading. We want the subject line to be typed in all caps. So now the fastest way, if we look at to, from, and date, you notice that there are little arrows. These arrows means to use the tab key. So we're going to start with our subject line, and I'm going to put my cursor on the subject line. I'm going to make sure, oops, right here. I'm going to hit the tab key once. And then I'm going to go in front of the T in today's date. I'm going to hit that tab key until it lines up. I'm going to do the same thing after from. I might have to hit it once or twice. Then I'm going to hit the tab key twice. Now, if you notice, these all line up now. That's what we want in our memo. right? The next thing it says is that we want to, from, and date and subject to be in all caps. This is where we get to use our vertical drag. If I put my cursor in front of the word to, hold my Alt key down, and drag down, I can change all of these at one time to uppercase. And I can do that by finding my big A, little a. It's my change case feature, and click on uppercase. The only thing I have to watch for is that it doesn't mess up my line spacing. Since it moved my student name over, I just hit backspace, and now it's all lined up. Now the next thing, I can triple click on the subject line and go up to my change case and put that on uppercase, and now we're good. Now where it says student name, that is where you are going to type your name. If it says, for example, in a letter, it might say your address, your student address, that would be your address. All right, there we go. So now we have this metal heading looking like the letter. The last thing we need to do is go up into our memorandum, and that is in our header. So I'm going to double click on my header, and in all caps, I'm going to type in memorandum. Then I am going to go home, and I'm going to maximize this window so you can see what I'm doing. I want to find the style section, right? I'm going to double click on memorandum, and I want to look for the title heading. It's right here. I'm going to click on that. Now, if your title is not there, if you come down to apply styles, you can type in title and then apply it. Okay, so there is our memorandum. We want to center it on the page, and then we're going to go inside our header. If you look at the top here, it says header and footer. We're going to click on that, and we want the header to be on about 0.8. So header from top should be 0.8. We're going to double click off, and now if you notice, we have our memorandum title up here in the header, which is different than our memo heading, which is our to, from, date, and subject. Then the next thing we're going to do, as always, is we're going to do a spell check. So if you hit F7, it will take you through a spell check. All right, I'm going to click here. So we're just going to do a spell check. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to correct it. So now I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit. You can see that we have our memorandum, our memo heading here, and then our to, from, date, and subject. And here is the body of our memo. And then, for example, if I did not type up this memo, let's say you did, after you finish typing up the memo, you would put your initials in lowercase at the bottom. This indicates who typed up the memo. So in the business world, if this memo goes out and there's something not correct about it, they could always look to see who actually put together the memo. All right. Or if you put together the memo and somebody's impressed with it, they know that you did it. So largely that is your basics of how you set up a memo. You would follow the same procedures for a letter. Just view side by side. Make sure you have your memo open or your block style rules open so you can view side by side and check. Anyways, that's it for our memo and our letter. I wish you the best as you are working through this. Oh, and one last thing. These formatting marks that you have turned on, when you did the P, if you print this document, those marks do not print out. Well, good luck and do your practice letter and your practice memo. Thanks for watching.